This video was prompted over an experience that I just had over about the last 45 minutes, I guess. And I did a video for about 16 minutes and then I just deleted it because I thought a lot of it is rehashing some of the same stuff. And then after I deleted it, something came to me and I thought, okay, I'll do another video, make it a shorter one, and sort of hone in on the subject, because the event that I experienced this afternoon, when I think of the overall importance of it, when you're operating on a spiritual battlefield, which is an AI battlefield environment, which is a war game strategy of gaming for our energy, okay? And how throughout what I've learned that I share with others to keep it neutral with non-polarized consciousness, okay? Which means it's just information that I share with everyone else, that I put up here through the server because of what I've experienced. That's all it is. Whatever value that it has with another state of consciousness is not up to me. It's up to them and their journey. Okay, so this goes all the way back to when I was a little kid, because I remember that I was surrounded by people that were telling me what I'm supposed to be, what I'm not supposed to do, what's right, what's not right, and it's all programming. And it's just like, remember the duct tape? I'm here to do a job. Don't respond. But I realized that I would have, that certain subjects would come up that would trigger me, okay, about things that I do not budge on, because I'm very familiar with the battlefield and how that game is played. And so the word that comes to mind, which prompted me to do this video, is called a consciousness trap. And when you're navigating in a field of consciousness and an AI battlefield environment, I can only tell you from past experience that learning the fine art of healing, which is the fine art of communication, which is navigating through a consciousness field that's at war with itself. Okay? And you're trying to maintain your shield at the same time. Okay? So you don't become a major target by virtue of the normal accretion levels we normally operate at, which is being an expert radio operator. Okay? Which one is he? Which one isn't he? False positive, read positive. Hey, we got a lot of data on this one. Yeah, this data tells us this being is, oh, leave him alone. Hey, wait a second. Now he's doing something. Which one is this guy? You know, now we're back to, if you remember the old routine, the Hollywood routine that Abbott and Costello used to do. Who's on first? What's on second? No, who's on first? That whole routine, sort of like that. Drive him insane. They can't make heads or tails out of what that is. That's called unpredictability. That is very important when your consciousness field is being scanned, graphed, modeled. Okay? Which means it's learning everything it needs to learn about you to suck all the energy out of you, because it's a war gamer. That's your black hole. Yeah? So it means knowing how to operate in a black hole environment. That's what it is. Okay? Successfully. Which means checkmating a black hole. And so when I'm online, it's when I go through all these little windows and I see something, right? That's visual mathematical reading. You're reading mathematical codes. So when I was a child, I was reading mathematical codes and I realized I'm in a spiritual battlefield because I already knew what my mission was before I jumped in here. Yeah. So I realized as a child that on a battlefield like that, remember the old saying, pick the high ground, right? And what an argument is. And what an argument is in computer language. You know? If that computer does not know how to translate that language, then it can't compute the numbers. Okay? Numbers and letters. Circles of fire letters. Does the Navajo code talkers ring a bell? Now we're into encryption codes. Now we're into locks. Now we're into locks and keys. Yeah. And how that is very, very critical to opening the door into your software environment. Now we're into firewalls. And again, we're back to frequency modulation with our software, our antenna, our fractal line antenna. Right? Because on this mission, the mission I had, failure was not an option. That's 0 errors. That means the level of mathematical precision had to be exact. 0 errors. That's God's mathematics. That's the eternal one. First mathematician. Running with the first mathematician to get the job done. That is a pure heart, which means we run on as pure as it gets. That's our emotional body. That is sentient emotional intelligence. That's why when I was a child, I didn't even know if I was capable of even functioning in this environment. Yeah. Sensory overload. Because when you are fully awake, and I mean fully awake, which is a Christos avatar, running founder's language, I'm hypersensitive. I mean like super hypersensitive. That's super hyper emotional sensitivity. Because you're absolutely on fire to create. The world's born out of what? Love. What love is. Where we find love and limits, you'll find us. So I know what a conscious trap is, and I know how to detect them. And one of the ways in which you can do that is by how, when you post comments on different channels, okay, you get drawn back to that place. And then you find out, now I'm in an argument. Oops. That's a consciousness trap. That's one biofield computer operator now wanting to draw you in. Right? That's much like a fisherman that's putting the bait out there. They took the bait, Admiral. Remember what happened at Midway? Got bushwhacked. So you have to be, you know what bait and switch is, right? So it's over. We've already won this, okay? Yet it's not like a war gamers. It's not like the war. It's still knocking on the door. Is really what it is. Still knocking on the door. And that's why one of the things that I believe his name was Christopher Comstock mentioned about, he was plugged into the Guardian materials about the personal responsibility that we have for taking accountability and responsibility for our own journey and recalling, and if you will, our own healing. Right? And that's true for me. Okay. And so I know how to do that. It's a conversation that I have with my creator, the firstborn star, pure, eternal, unconditional love that's on fire to love all of us. So I experience that through my heart and my soul. So I know what heals us. Love is what heals us. So when I need to experience that, that's real easy to do. I just go right into my heart, and there it is. So my heart is who I am. My heart and my soul is who I am. That's what I use to communicate with all of you. The essence of my spirit, the nature of who I am. I'm harmless. Okay? I enjoy having too much fun because I'm lit on fire, right? So you know that your spirit of fire is your firewall, and that's what protects your temple. Because all life is sacred. Therefore, all living life forms, to me, are equally sacred temples. So it's really simple. Everything that is in my mirror is what I am. I'm giving love to. And that is just like Forrest Gump. You know, simple is as simple does. Love is what love does. That fire's always lit, which means that light is always on, right? So you're always in the presence of pure, absolute, eternal love. And I know that. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's familiar ground. You know, like being grounded. It's familiar ground, but it is an art, and it's one of the reasons why I think Lisa Renee may have did an article about it, or it was in the Ascension Glossary a number of years ago about the importance of training prior to jumping into the system. Because of the nuances of how it operates. You know, if you're going to jump into an AI system, this one, the mathematical, that I use 2 words: universe killer math, 3 words: universe killer mathematics. It is universe killer mathematics. So if you wanted me to put my mathematician's hat on, I would simply say we're in a universe killer's mathematical system. Universe killer mathematics. Yeah. Universe killer mathematical codes. So I don't want to run those codes, do you? So I use certain simple terminology like burn it off. Burn it off. That's healing. I mean, that's another way to put that is I'm getting rid of what doesn't serve us. That's why I have a thing on the side of my shoulder that's been leaking for the last 4 or 5 years off and on. So my physical body's been purging. Remember I mentioned this when I was a little kid and I had this avatar, Christos avatar up and running? Elemental Command Authority, anything is less than what I am, which is pure, absolute, eternal love, dump it. Burn it off. Get rid of it. Because there's only one timeline. Love is the only thing that's real. There isn't any future, there isn't any past, there's only one love is. That's what I experienced when I was a 4-year-old little kid. So you're not ever going to change my mind and what I am. That's what I am. Okay, that's the one you're with. That's the one I'm with. Yeah. So when I was a child, I stood on that volcano. I'm a volcano. I'm in the volcano. Yeah. I'm standing on my rod. My rod does not deviate. 0. So in other words, I'm not going to allow you to communicate to me to try and tell me something that I'm not because of what you think I am. You don't know, but I know this battlefield because it's always trying to question your identity, your true solar identity, the essence and nature of your spirit, who you really are. See? Because I am very familiar with how assimilation takes place when all of a sudden you don't know who you are anymore, which is called dissociative identity disorder. Right? And that is a black mirror. Oh, I know the mirror that I run. Yeah? So anyway, have a good evening. Be good to yourselves. We love you all. Mua. Ah, yeah. Ha de.